the current state of board diversity is like in Japan and some of the challenges that are preventing change.
Board diversity is getting better. We still have a long way to go. The rates of foreigners on boards, rates of women on boards is improving. I think we're actually at board 2.0. I think we need to get to board 3.0. 1.0 was basically having external directors who were just the accountants and the auditors of the companies. I think they were captive directors. I think we're basically at 2.0 where you're having experts from other companies on your boards, but there's still not the full diversity of a fully diverse board, of having enough women representation, of having enough other types of representation on the board either.
How much of an issue is board diversity for shareholders, or is it just one of a number of reforms that they would like to see take place?
Oh, it's just one of the number. We have a lot of reforms we'd like to see continue to improve. We'd like to see whistleblower provisions continue to improve. We'd like to see certain management continue to focus on improving net income, which I think they could do a lot of. We'd like to see additional accountability in terms of ending nepotism in a lot of cases, where that's really inappropriate and not good for all the stakeholders of the company. We'd like to see better disclosure on environmental issues. And we'd like to see continued better performance in some cases on certain other social issues, including a diverse workforce as well.
And you certainly have made some waves when it comes to Fujitsu, right? This is, of course, your accusations of the president at the time, saying, accusing him of poor governance. He was voted off. And then you see the company then appoint him as chairman of the company. Seth, your take on that and what your next moves are going to be for Fujitsu? Sure,
Yvonne. That's Fujitech, to be clear. That's not Fujitsu.
Yep. My bad. Yes.
Yes, yeah, it's absolutely shocking and kind of a really breach of any sort of governance. He would have lost. I believe he would have lost. We actually don't know the final results because an hour before the vote, they called off voting for him. And just the board, immediately after the AGM, where he was not appointed a director of the company, they appointed him chairman of the company. Now, that's not chairman of the board, but that's chairman of the company. Clearly, that obviates the most fundamental rights of shareholders. Shareholders' most fundamental right is to appoint their representation. And here they did. They took away their they took away their fundamental right by just appointing him chairman of the company. We've investigated, we've found, on the back of actually whistleblowers coming to us originally, of enormous amount of related party transactions, inappropriate related party transactions between him and the company. It's really disappointing to the shareholders. Yes, I'd like to see continued accountability there at the board.
And what's kind of the, overall, if we look ahead to Song, markets are just so volatile. People are saying, there's distortions in this market. The bond market's broken. Equities are still pricing in optimistic scenarios. Are there more opportunities to go long and short this year than last?
Oh, I think massively. I think actually, it's been, as they say, a macro market, and lots of stocks have all moved down together. But people have not focused on actually which businesses are sound in some cases, which businesses are really cash flow generative, which businesses should be inflation protected, as opposed, and which businesses are actually the weak yen in Japan's case the yen is extraordinarily beneficial for, versus in other cases where the yen is actually a massive headwind. And same goes for China. I think there's actually there's been a lot of distress, and I think there's actually there's real ability to finally be a value pickers market, as opposed to and seeing this kind of massive decline in a lot of stocks. I think there's actually an opportunity to kind of spend a lot of time picking between them.
Yeah, in terms of yen depreciation, what do you think the chances are of policymakers in Japan following the path of their counterparts in China? We've seen the PBOC quite active when it comes to intervening in currency markets. Are you keeping one eye on the Ministry of Finance in Japan?
I'm keeping half an eye on the Ministry of Finance in Japan. I mean, look, primarily what we're doing is engaging individual companies and not trying to take real big views on the yen. But for the sake of the conversation, I do think this is very important for Japan. I think Japan is going generally in a very different direction than the U.S. I mean, the yen move is really, we're talking about yen in relative to the U.S. dollar. And inflation is very real in the States. They've been very explicit about raising rates in the States, and Japan is going a different way. And so, yes, they're keeping an eye on it because a too big a move can have too big an impact. But I don't see them taking a big move here, 140. I think there's probably some secret happiness about what it could do for parts of Japan.
1990, and actually until